Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Creative Naturally podcast. My name's Bex and this is my creative podcast about all things handmade and at the moment knitted. I'm very much in a knitting phase of creating at the moment, but I also love to sew and felt, and I love making pottery as well. It all kind of comes in ebbs and flows, but yeah, at the moment this is very much knitting related. It's so lovely to be with you all. I've had a little influx again of subscribers, so welcome to everybody who's new. It's so lovely that you're here. Grab yourself a hot beverage and come and chat about some epic knitting with me and creating. I am coming to you from just outside of Melbourne, Australia, in the countryside. You would have seen a little bit of a snapshot of what I'm looking out at this morning in the intro. It's very beautiful. It's early morning at the moment. It's just coming up to 8 a.m. And yeah, I'm super excited to be with you guys. So lovely to be back with everybody who's been watching this podcast for a while. I completely bypassed my 1 year podiversary. I think I was getting my wisdom teeth removed at the time. So yeah, for everybody who's been watching since the beginning, that's amazing, and it's so lovely to get to know you guys all a bit better and read all of your comments. I read everything, so and I try to respond as much as I can. So yes, welcome. Okay, I've got lots to share with you this week. It's been 3 weeks since I recorded a podcast. You would have seen that there was a little special announcement video that went up a few days ago, and I will share more about that with you. But first, coffee. This is my little hand potted mug that I picked up in a beautiful little gallery in Wales when I was going visiting my dad. I'm from England originally. Isn't it beautiful? Wildflowers and rushes and all of my favourite colours. And coffee inside, which is never a bad thing. Okay. Sorry about the lighting. I'm hoping that the sun's going to come up a little bit more. It's got a bit of a green tinge on my screen, and I thought you might want to know why. The room that I am sitting in is surrounded on two sides by beautiful kiwi fruit vines, which are kind of hanging up around the edges of the room, which is quite a good reason, I would say, for having a bit of a green tinge on my video. I'm hoping it won't last for very long and that the sun will get a bit stronger, but it makes for a very pretty view while I'm podcasting for you. So let's do some announcements first, shall we? I'll get the big one out of the way first because it's very much what's on my mind at the moment. So tomorrow Australia time anyway, on the 1st of December at 8 p.m. Eastern AEST, Australian time. Australian Eastern Standard Time, I think that stands for, which is around about 7 a.m. GMT. I will be very much starting the 10-day Create Love auction. It's an auction that I am hosting with all proceeds going towards the United Nations Syrian refugee appeal. So the it's UNHCR, United Nations High Commission for Refugees. I'll write it down here. Sorry, I'm having a brain freeze. I give money to them every month, and they do an amazing job on the ground in Syria and also in the refugee camps in the countries surrounding Syria, giving money, creating shelter, giving healthcare, access to education. Like, the stuff that they do is absolutely fantastic. And yes, so I've created an auction called the Create Love auction, and the hashtag, it's going to be an Instagram auction, and the hashtag is called hashtag Create Love Syria. So if you pop that into the tags button on Instagram, you'll see all of the posts with that hashtag, where people have shared my posts, but also my posts relating to this auction. And the auction runs for 10 days, from the 1st of December to the 10th of December. And I have asked for donations and been offered donations from creative folks all over the world. It's been amazing, absolutely amazing. It's a very scary thing for me to do, to put myself out here and host something and be in control of something. So there's a lot of nerves there, but it's been a real amazing process so far. So I've been collecting donations from lots and lots of different creatives. Majority of them are on Instagram, among other social medias. And we've got things like incredible handmade tartan project bags, and a homespun house yarn, and custom hand knit jumpers and hats and socks, and hand painted mandala paintings, and oh, just so many I can't even think of. But check out the auction. It will start tomorrow, from the 1st to the 10th. And the way it's going to work is that each auctionable piece will be open for bids for 24 hours. So I will post the posts. There will be some days with 2 pieces available for auction. I will post the posts at 8 p.m. AEST, so I think that's 7 a.m. GMT, and then that will run for 24 hours until I post the next post, and I will look, and it's the highest bidder who supplies a PayPal email address who will win. And please go and bid. It's some of the stuff is just so beautiful, and they would make amazing festive presents or just gifts for yourself and loved ones. I can't guarantee that they'll arrive before Christmas, because I'm not going to be in control of the postage side of things. So the way it's going to run is that these amazing makers and designers are donating their pieces, and then they are also covering international postage, which is so generous of them and a big ask. So basically what you bid is all that you will pay. There's going to be no other crazy international shipping costs on top of that or anything, which means it's very accessible to everybody around the world who would like to bid. Keep in mind that there may be some customs charges, and you would be responsible for paying those, not the maker. So keep that in mind. But yes, fingers crossed we'll get them out as quickly as possible to the highest bidder, but just be aware that they're not guaranteed before Christmas, especially the custom knit things. They may take a while to get knitted. But yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see what everybody decides to bid on. And yes, coffee. So just to reiterate, that's the Create Love auction. It's an Instagram-based auction running on my Instagram account, which is at Bex_in_real_life. And it will start from the 1st of December till the 10th of December, and we're looking at around about 15 pieces that are available for bidding. And I definitely recommend checking it out. I think I might be bidding as well. I think I'm allowed to do that. Yeah. I'm making the rules, so I'm going to be bidding. So that's the Create Love Syria auction. Go and check it out. All money going to an incredible cause that I'm so excited to be able to support in the small ways that we do. While also empowering kind of creative means, I think we can underestimate the things that we can do, and the smallest things don't feel like they're enough. So I'm kind of teaching myself through this that even the little bits are important. Even if $100 gets made, that's $100 that's going towards an amazing cause. So yes, let's talk about some knitting, shall we? Okay, finished objects. I've got a happy little pile here. I'm going to start with the full finished objects first, and then there's a couple of half finished objects as well. The first, I'm pretty sure I haven't showed you, are these guys, which are my own design, and these are the Homesteading Socks. You may well have seen them on Instagram already, but they are now finished and looking very, very cute. These guys are a design that is currently in the test knitting stage. I am thinking I should be able to get out the pattern relatively soon. My attention's quite a lot on the Create Love cereal auction at the moment, so once that's kind of settled and underway, I can kind of finalise the pattern for these guys and pop them on Ravelry once all of the test knitters have finished their pieces as well. But yeah, how cute are these? So these guys are a toe-up sock pattern, which is how I knit all of my socks. And there's a couple of sections of colour work. So we've got some little kind of checkerboard colour work here, and then a German short row heel, which creates this beautiful, beautiful heel. If anything, I feel like this is easier to follow than the Fish Lips Kiss heel. I'm actually switching over more towards this German short row heel. It's really lovely, and it doesn't have that seam at the edge that the Fish Lips Kiss heel has. I like it a lot. And then it has these two little pine trees. Ooh, haven't woven them in my ends. Pop my hand in. So it has, on each side, a little pine tree, and then a cute little homesteading house, and another little pine tree. So on the edge you get two pine trees, and then a house, two pine trees. And I love them. I think they're gorgeous. And it's got this little fence here and a fence here leading up to the cuff. And I'm so happy with how these turned out. So these are my Homesteading Socks pattern. And I will let you guys know when they are available. It's going to be a purchasable pattern on Ravelry, but I like to keep my sock patterns nice and low price, so they won't be very expensive at all. Super cute, and it's so amazing to see all of the test knitters' pictures. If you want to go and check out and see how they look in other colours, go to the hashtag Homesteading Socks on Instagram. It's been so amazing to see everybody's colours that they're choosing. My friend Sophie, who's excuse me, I met my friend Sophie, who's Grumpy Hedgehogs on Instagram, has designed these. I think she's done like a dark grey for the mane, and then she's got a variegated kind of autumnal colour, red, orangey, greeny, for the contrasting colour, so the toe and the cuff and the colour work, and it looks amazing. They look like little kind of maple leaf houses. They're so cute. So yeah, you only need, I think it's around about 50 grams. I'll let you know in the pattern, but it's around about 50 grams for the main colour, because they're a reasonably long sock. And then I think it was 20 to 25 grams of the contrasting colour for the toe and the colour work and the cuff. And yeah, so it's a really nice little stash buster if you've got any leftover sock yarn in a colour that you would want to make a contrasting colour with. Works really well. Mini skeins and things like that. So these are the Homesteading Socks. And they're wonderful. I love them. Very happy. So they are a finished object. Sorry, croaky throat. Okay, so my next finished object is a big one, and it's also another design project. This one is actually a free love gift for you guys. It's called Wrapped in Nature. I'm going to stand up and show you. And if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this bits and bobs in production. But look at the tassels! This is Wrapped in Nature, which is a chunky 12-ply or bulky weight wrap. There we go. which I love. And I made it this long so it kind of just sits over your shoulders while you would be on a computer or something like that, or knitting away. But you could make it as long as you wanted. I was using up a 10 ball pack of patent Inca that I got as a gift from the yarn store that I used to work at. Inca is a kind of 12 to 14 ply yarn, and it's a mixture of, excuse me, that was my phone. It's a mixture of wool and alpaca and a bit of acrylic as well. But I think this would just be so gorgeous in any chunky yarn. So Wrapped in Nature is its name, and it's full of squishy garter, these two beautiful panels of leafy lace that just reminds me of being in forests, in nature. And I kind of separated the garter stitch sections with these lovely eyelet details here that go all the way along. And then finished it off with these amazing tassels. So I'm super, super happy with this. This is, again, going to be a free pattern on Ravelry. Keep you guys all nice and cosy this winter. Or summer, if you're here in Australia. Isn't it beautiful? Nice chunky pile of yum. So this will probably be available in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I would say. I'm in the process of writing up the pattern at the moment. But yeah, super happy with how it came out, and this is going to be a Christmas gift for my sister Freya. So that is a super large finished object that I've been working on lots since we last spoke. Okay, now I've got 2 half-finished objects, and they're both socks. The first one I will talk about is, again, another design project. I'm just kind of showing you guys design projects at the moment because I'm doing so many of them, and it's where a lot of my knitting is going. It seems kind of crazy not to talk about it on the podcast, so I'm just going to go for it. I'm probably not supposed to, but hey-ho. And this sock, it hasn't been blocked yet, so it's a bit of a funny shape, but this is the Seafoam sock. And this is a collaboration I'm working on with my amazing friend Sophie, who is Grumpy Hedgehog, and she's an awesome yarn dyer. And she created me a custom skein. Sorry, the light's a bit funny. We'll go with it. She created me a custom 2 skeins actually of a colourway that I asked her for. I wanted a really light tealy greeny grey, and she provided the most beautiful colour. And one of the skeins went to our giveaway winner, which is, let me just check actually what her name was. My mind's gone completely blank. Honey Blue Crochet Bay was actually the winner of my Instagram giveaway. Lucky, lucky lady. She's so lovely, by the way. I think she was from Perth. So she received her package a few days ago, and inside was 1 skein of this Seafoam colourway, and also a custom-made project bag from my friend Hello Maker, who's M, who makes the most beautiful project bags. You should check her out on Instagram. Her Instagram is Hello Maker. So she won a beautiful project bag and little accessories pouch, and also some stitch markers from Sophie as well, who dyed the yarn. Anyway, all that to say that this was my skein of the Seafoam yarn, and I am making it into a beautiful new sock design. So this is a little kind of pop sock, I guess you'd call it. My idea is kind of to have them so that they would just peek outside of a low pair of boots, or you could wear them with some kind of Mary Jane shoes, something like that. They're super cute, and it's got this really beautiful kind of wave detail, which is very, very easy to memorise, which for me is quite important with socks. And it's got a German short row heel, excuse me, and then it's got some ribbing and a picot bind off, which at the moment is flaring, but once it'll be blocked it will kind of sit down a lot more. But they're so cute, I love them. So this is a design that I'm working on at the moment that should be released pretty soon. And that's one finished sock. Okay. My second finished, half-finished object. Can you see I've been knitting quite a lot recently? I had a week off of work because I got 4 wisdom teeth removed last week. So I'm kind of back to almost normal shape, but still feel a bit funny in my mouth. Okay, so my second half-finished object is this beautiful sock. Let's see if I can get it to sit. Socks are funny. I need to get some sock blockers, don't I? So this is a test knit for my friend Georgina, and she is creating a pattern called the Avocado Socks, which is her kind of sock recipe, and she's very kind of mathematically minded, and she's created this amazing heel that just sits so beautifully on your feet. Like, I kind of didn't really know if it would be worth. It's more intricate than a normal heel, and I don't generally have to look at my pattern anymore if I'm creating a heel. So this did take a little bit of time because it was my first attempt. But oh my gosh, it feels amazing on your foot, and there's no slipping at all. Your foot is just hugged by this pattern, and it includes a kind of gusset underneath the heel, and then a very rounded heel, and then also some ankle shaping, kind of on your Achilles at the back. So it creates this real kind of pouch for your heel to sit in through wedges. It kind of has multiple wedges, and it just works amazingly. It especially works really well with self-striping yarn because you get this really cool design here, which I love. So yeah, this is the Avocados sock test knit, and I'll let you guys know as soon as the pattern comes out. It's fantastic. I think you technical knitters would really like this. It's easy to follow. She's done a really good job of describing it well and exactly what she wants you to do, and it's kind of a German short row technique that she uses to create the wedge shapes. So it's not tricky by any means, it's just a bit more in depth than your kind of average heel, that like Fish Lipski's heel or something. So yes, I think that's all I've got to say. The yarn that I'm using for this is Schoppel, which is a German sock yarn company, and it's their Das Paar colourway. I can't remember what the colour number is. They don't have colour names for each yarn. They've got a colour number, but it's quite obvious what this colour is, and it will say in my project notes on Ravelry. My Ravelry name is Rebecca SJS, so you can find me on there, and I'll have links underneath at the beginning. I forgot to introduce myself properly and tell you all my Instagram and Ravelry details this time. You can tell that it's been 3 weeks, not 2 weeks, since I last recorded. So yeah, this is the Avocado Socks, and that leads into my works in progress, doesn't it really? So that's the first finished sock. And living in my beautiful handmade pottery bowl is the second one. And I'll show you this bowl first. I made this bowl maybe 2 years ago. I did a pottery course, a 6-week pottery course. I just love the glazing so much. Really, really beautiful. I did pottery as an A-level, and also I did a module of it at university. And I love it so much. It's not the most accessible of craft because you've got to have everything set up and have access to kilns and things. But one day. So I'm using this as a little yarn bowl at the moment. And living in here is my second ball, hand-wound ball of the Schoppel das Paar. Living in my little bowl. And I am kind of about halfway through the foot, just about to start the increases for the gusset leading up to the heel. And yeah, I just love the colours in this yarn. Kind of purpley greys and pinks and teals. So much fun. And it does this kind of faux fairy effect as well. And I am using my usual sock needles, which is the Knit Pro Novas in 2.5mm, which is a US 1.5. And I love these needles. They're fantastic. I did buy a pair of higher sharp sock needles a little while ago, and I ended up having to give them away just because the sock needles were so sharp at the tips, and I was getting holes in my finger. It was getting really sore. I kind of pushed my needle through. So yes, I had to give those away to Emily, my friend Emily, who's Hello Maker. And yes, so I'm back to my normal Knit Pro Novas. And I would like to try some other sock needles. So if you guys have any suggestions for kind of relatively sharp sock needles, but not too sharp, that would be really interesting. I knit all of my socks toe up and on using the magic loop technique, which I love. And yeah. So that's my second avocado sock test knit. Okay, let's go further into the works in progress, shall we? My kind of most long-standing work in progress at the moment is my Risen, which is a cardigan pattern by Melanie Berg. I'm knitting this in a beautiful kind of egg yolky mustardy colour. There we go. And the yarn is Big Blue Stocking, which is a superwash blue face Leicester, 4-ply or fingering weight, and it comes in 150 gram skeins. I got my first skein at Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show in July. I think it's July, yeah. And there's 600 meters on there, and it got me to just kind of almost a cropped cardi length, but kind of not quite. So I went and I asked for a custom dye job, and she dyed me another amazing 150 gram skein, which was like perfect colour. She did such a fantastic job. This is the yarn. And the indie dyer is dyed by hand. I think she's Julie or Julia. She's a lovely lady. So if you ever want some beautiful yarn, definitely go check her out. She's an Australian indie dyer. And yeah, this yarn is just so lovely. It's quite highly spun, but it's still got a beautiful halo on it. It's one of those yarns you just know is not going to pill. And I don't mind pilling, but it is quite nice to have stuff that doesn't. Actually, I didn't tell you what I'm wearing. I'll tell you in a second what I'm wearing. It's reminded me. Anyway, so this is the Risen. Again, it's a pattern by Melanie Berg. And I've made quite good progress on this since we last spoke. I'm just kind of knitting on it whenever I'm watching movies or anything like that. It's very straightforward at the moment. I finished all the shaping. I'm just making it super long. So it's well below my kind of natural hip now. I finished the sleeves. It's got this beautiful ribbing detail on the sleeves, and it's got this amazing texture that goes all the way around, knitted at the same time as the main body, which is this gorgeous kind of slip stitch. Well, it's not even a slip stitch. I've never done it before. It's kind of you make it through kind of on the purl side with like a purl through the middle kind of style. I don't know how to describe it. You should check out the pattern, it's beautiful. But it creates this amazing texture which reminds me of like a woven fabric. and then it's just stocking it, knit backwards and forwards, and you can see where my first skein got me, just there where the yarn's tied off, just underneath the sleeve. So it got me to around about here with 600 meters or 150 grams, and I bought another skein, and I'm just going to kind of keep on going until it's finished. So I'd quite like it to be kind of almost dress length, so kind of mid-thigh. I'm very happy with it. I've still got this much left of the yarn, so I'm just going to keep on going until I'm around about mid-thigh, and then I might even have some left over. And that is living in this cute little project bag that I made a little while ago. So it's all kinds of mustards. And one of the reasons that it reminded me about what I'm wearing is because I am wearing my Featherweight cardigan, which is a pattern by Hannah Fettig. And this cardi is very similar to the Risen by Melanie Berg. But there's a few differences, and I wanted to talk about that. I'll show you what I'm wearing first of all. So, this is my Featherweight. I did a cropped version so it hits my natural waist. And it's a very kind of wide open cardi that just kind of sits on the shoulders. Not too much shaping at all. And with this one you pick up around the edges and create a border. And I chose a double moss stitch, which has this real kind of brick effect. I don't know if you can see that. And yeah, I did cropped sleeves and then a cropped shape. And the difference that I find with this one is it has a tendency of kind of slipping off my shoulders a bit. Can you see how it does this just here? There's not too much of a structure on it, and it has a tendency of slipping off a little bit and bunching at this point here, which doesn't bother me, but may potentially stop me from wanting to make another one of this pattern. So one of the reasons I love the Risen by Melanie Berg is that there's just a bit more structure, and because you're knitting the band at the same time, I feel like it just has this strength around the back here where there isn't so much stretch at this point, and it just sits on my shoulders a lot better. So the main reason I prefer the Risen, I think, is because there's just more structure. It's a bit more of a technical pattern, and I just feel like a bit more thought has gone into it potentially. But I love them both. But yeah, if you're looking at the Featherweight cardigan, definitely consider it, but do check out the Risen as well by Melanie Berg. It's a fantastic pattern and very, very similar kind of end result. So yeah, that's my Risen by Melanie Berg and my Featherweight that I'm wearing. This Featherweight is knit out of Jamieson's of Shetland Spindrift, which is their 4-ply, well, kind of light fingering weight, 3-ply, 4-ply yarn. And this is the oyster colourway, which I love. It's got pink, kind of peachy pinks with the natural kind of cream and kind of proper teal-y. I don't know if you can see the teal that comes in there. It's so beautiful. It's a Shetland wool. It's a little bit scratchy, but as soon as I've got it on, I'm fine. It's the first kind of 2 minutes of wearing it, it feels a bit prickly, and then as soon as I'm wearing it, my body gets used to it. But it keeps me so warm. It's very, very thin, but it's very warm, and it creates this beautiful kind of halo. Really lovely garment. I do love this garment. So, Risen by Melanie Berg. What's up next? Got a beautiful pile of knitting to my right. So, okay, we'll go with the exciting one. Which is a bit of a pile at the moment, so let's see if we can get some order. I have been knitting and knitting and knitting away on things for other people recently. Trying to do some Christmas knits, and I just needed a bit of a break, and I found myself casting on another Cozy Memories blanket. Now my first Cozy Memories blanket that I've been working on worked out so that I was using Kemper Ray's Coziest Memory pattern, and it came out that the squares that it was making were a lot smaller, and the feel of it, I wasn't enjoying so much. So I ended up recreating Katie of Inside Number 23 podcast's version. You can check out her project notes on her Ravelry page. But she basically just casts on 51 stitches in any 4-ply yarn, and then she does a centre double decrease in the middle, which gets this beautiful, you can see it better on the yellow, gets this beautiful kind of line going down the middle of the mitered square, and it creates these really lovely sized squares. And as soon as you cast on one square, you end up thinking, oh, I wonder what the next colour I'm going to use is. And then suddenly you find that you're on your 11th square and you don't know how it happened, and you don't want to knit anymore on your Christmas knits. Oops. So basically this sock blanket is using up all of my little bits and bobs of 4-ply yarn from other projects. So this square here, and also this square here, you might recognise. It's the Daspar Shopple yarn that I'm using for the Avocado Socks. So I'm using up my little leftover bits. This one here and this one here are the same yarn, and they are Gradient Yarns Australia in her, what does she call it? I think it was just her mustard colourway. I picked this skein up at Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show, and I knit the diagonal lace socks by Wendy Johnson. So these are the leftover bits. This yarn here you might recognise. Lots of podcasters have knitted socks out of this one. This, I think, is Berger de France Gumi 50 in the Imprim Beige colourway. It makes beautiful socks, and I had a little bit left over from my socks. And this one here is Pirate Pearl Yarns in her, I can't remember the colourway. I used it for my Building Blocks cowl Stephen West shawl, and I've got a fair amount left over. And it's this beautiful colour. It was in her bargain bin actually at Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show. This one is a little random mini skein that I got from my friend Sophie. I have a feeling that it might be Manos del Uruguay Alegria, but I'm not sure. It's got these beautiful greeny, tealy, beigey kind of tones in there. And this one is Knitpicks Stroll. I can't remember, I don't know if they have colour names. And this one, it definitely is Manos del Uruguay Alegria. I knit a pair of socks out of this one. And those ones I've told you about already. This is some leftover from my Silver Birch socks, which is a sock pattern I have now on Ravelry. And this is, what yarn did I use for those? It's a German sock yarn. I'll write it down here. My mind's gone blank. In this beautiful kind of blue-grey tone. And then this here is some leftover Manos del Uruguay Alegria that I used for a sample project for the Morris & Sons Melbourne yarn store that I used to work at. So I've got a fair amount of that left over here. And that's what I'm working on at the moment. So that kind of what it looks like while you're working on it. So you're just kind of doing a decrease in the middle section, every knit side, and then you're purling across on the wrong side, just knitting this one stitch just here to maintain this kind of diagonal line. But yeah, so that's my little kind of love project that's just super simple and really relaxing. I cast this on while I was healing up from my wisdom teeth removal, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I've got 2 more works in progress. Okay, so sorry, I've got a funny little thing popping up on my computer. Okay, so the next project that I'm working on is a really simple little brioche cowl that I'm knitting up for my littlest sister, Miyuki. and this is going to be her Christmas prezi, so it needs to get knitted up fast. I need to post everything off to England soon, but you get to see the yummy brioche. So it's got this pinky on one side and then the creamy on the other, and it's very, very loose and squishy with a little rolled hem. And the main colour that I'm using, this kind of creamy tone, kind of oatmeal I guess you'd call it, is this massive ball of Bendigo Woolen Mills luxury 8-ply in the stone colourway. So that is that, and I am using up some stash yarn for this project. So, sorry, I've got a very itchy nose. Ooh. I am using Debbie Bliss Rialto DK, which is her 100% natural fibre yarn, in these 3 tones. So I've got a kind of henna, kind of browny pink, and then this middly pink that I'm starting with, which is kind of almost like a raspberry pink, and then this kind of very light beigey tone, which is quite similar to the main colour that I'm using. And I'm planning on doing a little bit of a gradient, kind of stripy style, so I'm going to work with this pink for a little while, and then I'll move to this colour as the middly section, and then this colour finally, with this going all the way through as the contrasting tone. So yeah, that's my little Christmas knit that I'm working on, and it's brioche, so it's probably a little bit tricky to get started when you first learn brioche, but as soon as you get your head around it, it's very, very comfortable. I still don't know how to fix mistakes with brioche, so I have to keep a check of where I am, but yeah, goes nice and smoothly usually, and it creates this amazing texture, so I'm super happy with that. So that's my pile of pinks. And my final work in progress is living in my little handmade project bag. And this is the very, very, very beginnings of another design project using white gum wool, gum grey 4-ply. And check out this company, they're amazing. I was singing their praises last podcast, so you can hear all the blurb about them in episode 16. And this is my little shawl moustache. So that's the very, very beginnings of a shawl project I'm working on. And this is a design, so I won't tell you too much. But it's so soft. So soft and beautiful. Little moustache. And I'm knitting this on my higher interchangeable set in the 4mm needles. And these are just the regulars, they're not the sharps, so they're not crazy sharp. So yes, this is like a cloud. Love it. So that is all of my like mad amounts of knitting. Lots of things on the needles and lots of things off the needles, so that's pretty exciting. I've got some pretty exciting yarn acquisitions to show you, and I took part in, I think it was, let's have a look, Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted, which is such a sweet little thing that's happening on Instagram at the moment, where you can post some wishes that you would like to be granted or receive, and you can grant some other people's wishes. So I wished to try a few different designers, and was so lucky to get 2 of those wishes granted, and then I granted 3 people's wishes in return. And I wanted to share with you the first of the wishes that I got granted. And I wished to try some hedgehog fibres, and the amazing Swatch Fox granted my wish. And I received this epic package. Can you believe it? Ooh, love the knitting community. Instagram's amazing. Oh my gosh. So the amazing Swatch Fox, who is a complete stranger to me, I might add, granted my hedgehog fibres wish and bought me some pollen in their sock yarn, which is this beautiful mustard, and I can't wait to use. Getting another mustard fix. And that is 100 grams of 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon. And she also gave me a couple of these sock minis in the typewriter colourway, which was a colour I said that I really wanted to try out. Aren't they beautiful? So these are 20 grams each, or 80 metres each. Oh, I love it. So thank you so much, Swatch Fox. That's amazing. The other yarn wish that I got granted was by Molly of A Homespun House, who I said that she was one of the designers that I would love to try, and she got in contact with me and is sending me a skein of her yarn. She's also sending a skein of yarn that I can donate for the Create Love Syria auction. So thank you so much, Molly, you superstar. I can't wait to receive your parcel. And yeah, I'm so excited to knit with your yarn. And I think that's all my yarny acquisitions. They're so soft. I'm so excited. I feel like they almost need to be in one project. I don't know. I just love how the black and the white and the mustard go together. They're so funky. We shall see. So that's everything for this week, I think. Yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the Create Love Syria auction, which is starting tomorrow and will run for 10 days. All proceeds going to the UNHCR Syria Crisis Appeal. So go bid and pick up some beautiful lovelies and support the Syrian people who really need our help at the moment. And yeah, come say hi to me on Instagram, comment below. I love to hear from you, and I will see you again for an episode 18. Lots of love, everybody.